Okay, so today we're going to be looking at section 10.2, which is called Analyze and Interpret Data. And the first thing we're going to be looking at is things like the mean, median, and mode. And those are called measures of central tendency. So numbers that give some indication of the overall average of data. That's what a measure of central tendency is. And the ones we'll be looking at are the mean, median, and mode. So the first one, the easiest one to explain, is the mode. That is the number that occurs the most often. And there can be more than one mode. So for example, if you have two values that each occur 7 times and everything else occurs less than 7 times, then those two values would be the modes. Also, if each number appears equally often, we would say that there's no mode. Next, we're going to be thinking about the mean. So let's say x1, x2, x3, etc. out to n is a collection of numbers. Then the mean, which we were going to call x bar, the x with a little line over it. So that x bar is the mean. And we're just going to add up the n divided by n. All right? The median, which is basically the middle number when the numbers are written in increased order. So suppose x1, x2, x3, xn is a collection of numbers in increasing order. So in other words, x1 is smallest, and then x2, and then x3, all the way up to xn. So if n is odd, so for example, if you have 5 numbers, so these are your 5 numbers, it's the middle score on the list. So, if n is 5, then we would do 5 plus 1 divided by 2. That gives me 6 divided by 2. That gives me 3. So it'll be the third number on my list. And that's indeed the middle number is the third number. And so that's the median. On the other hand, if n is even, then you have 2 middle numbers. So suppose n was 4. You've got 4 numbers. So you've got your 2 middle numbers right here. Then one of your middle numbers is, well, you take your number n and you divide it by 2. In this case, we would get 2. So one of your middle numbers would be your second number. And then the other one, you take that number, n divided by 2, and you add 1 onto it. So in this case, it's my second and my third number. And we just add them together and divide by 2. Sorry about that. So we will definitely see examples. So we're going to start with problem number 1. It says to calculate the mean, median, and mode for each collection of data. So we have the numbers 8, 9, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So first of all, the mode is 9 because there are 2 9s. And everything else only occurs once. To find the mean, I add up the 6 numbers and I divide by 6. When I added up the numbers, I got 59, and 59 divided by 6, I could say is 9 and 5/6, or 9.83333, so 9.83 repeating. And then the median, because there's 6 numbers, well, one easy way to do it is to get rid of the biggest and the smallest, the second biggest and second smallest, and then I see I have 2 middle numbers. So, and by the way, that's the third number and the fourth number. I add my 2 middle numbers together and divide by 2. So I get 9.5 for the median. Does that make sense? And by the way, n was 6. There were 6 numbers. So when I do n divided by 2, that gives me 6 divided by 2. That gives me 3. So that's why I have my third number, and then I add 1 to that, and I get my fourth number. So I'm adding the third and fourth numbers and dividing by 2. Okay, next we're going to look at part B. So this time I have much different numbers. The first thing I decided to do was to put them in order. I noticed that each number only appeared once, so there was no mode. To find the mean, I added up the 6 numbers and divided by 6. So I got 85 divided by 6, which is 14 and a 6, or 14.16 repeating. To get the median, I looked at my numbers in increasing order, and I saw that there are 2 middle numbers, so I added them together and divided by 2, and that gave me 13.5. Is that okay? Oh, yes, Mary? Did you have a question, Mary? I can't hear you. Okay. So you don't have a question? It was
sorry about that. I couldn't hear you at all, but then when I clicked raise my hand, I could hear you. So everything's good. No question. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm glad you can hear me. Okay. All right. Anything else? Okay. So next we're going to look at part C. And for part C, we have this collection of data. I again started by putting my numbers in increasing order. And I saw that each number only occurred once, so there was no mode. And to find the mean, I added my numbers up, keeping in mind that some of them are negative. And so I got 2.9 divided by 6, which was 0.483 repeating. And then to find the median, well, there were 6 numbers, and I had 2 middle numbers, so I added my 2 middle numbers together, and I divided by 2, and I came up with 1.9. And then part D, I've got these numbers to look at. I started by putting them in increasing order. I saw that I had 2 zeros, and that was the only number that appeared more than once, so that was the mode. And then to find the mean, I added up all my numbers, divided by 9, because there were 9 numbers this time. And so I have negative 38 divided by 9, which is negative 4 and 2/9, or negative 4.2 repeating. And then to get the median, so this time there's an odd number of numbers. So my middle number is 0. And if you wanted to use the formula, n is 9. So my middle number is n plus 1 over 2. So I take 9 plus 1 over 2. 10 over 2 gives me 5. So my middle number is my 5th number. So I could just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And this is my middle number. Okay?